Notice, the information given here is designed to help you make informed decisions about your body and health. The suggestions for specific foods, nutritional supplements, and exercises in this program are not intended to replace appropriate or necessary medical care. Before starting any exercise program, always see your physician. If you have specific medical symptoms, consult your physician immediately. If any recommendations given in this program contradict your physician's advice, be sure to consult your doctor before proceeding. Mention of specific products, companies, organizations, or authorities in this audio program does not imply endorsement by the author or the publisher, nor does mention of specific companies, organizations, or authorities in this audio program imply that they endorse the audio program. The author and the publisher disclaim any liability or loss, personal or otherwise, resulting from the procedures in this program. Internet addresses and telephone numbers given in this audio program were accurate at the time the program was recorded. Random House Audio presents The 12-Second Sequence, Shrink Your Waist in 2 Weeks, by Jorge Cruise. Read for you by the author.
Hi, this is Jorge Cruise, and I am so happy and excited to welcome you to the 12-Second Sequence. This program will let you do that, and you're going to see results in 2 weeks. And if you do it for the full 8 weeks, the way the plan is devised, you're going to see an extraordinary, not just sculpted body in the sense that your abdominals and your belly is going to be disappearing, but more importantly, your whole body is going to look sensational. And if you're a guy out there and you want a six-pack, guys, and if you want to look strong and be strong and feel your most physically confident self, that's what this program is going to do as well. And you're going to do it all with the least amount of effort. And that's what my whole plan's about, and that's what this book's all about, really. And I'll tell you, if you're wondering, how do I know this? Well, I also used to be overweight, and I used to be not fit. And not because I was just out of time and didn't have time to do it, but I just didn't know what to do as well. And I'll tell you, nothing is more frustrating than not being physically healthy. And I'll tell you this as well. If you have your health, if you have your fitness foundation down, you have the greatest advantage in life, because nothing will give you a greater edge in life to be successful in whatever you want to do, whether it's business or your kids or whatever it is your life's about, than being fit. Because if you have that level of fitness, you have an advantage that almost no one in this culture has anymore. And most Western culture, people in the Western culture are overweight. They say the statistics are getting worse, but they say currently that 65% of all Americans are overweight, and it's epidemic. So if you want to get yourself in shape, whether it's to lose 5 pounds or 25 pounds, whatever it is, this plan will help you do it, and you're going to do it in the most effective, efficient way. So I want to welcome you, and let's get started right now. All right, so I can probably guess what the question in your head is right now, and you're probably asking yourself, what is the 12-second sequence? Well, let me tell you. The 12-second sequence is a plan that first you got to know, I spent 2 years putting this thing together with my team. And second, here's what it does. It is the most effective way to create lean muscle tissue. And lean muscle tissue, my friends, is your metabolism. And more in particular, it's your resting metabolism, which means how many calories you burn when you're doing nothing, like sitting at the computer, maybe listening to this on your iPod or wherever you're listening to it, or at the office or at home, but when you're not doing anything. And I'll tell you, if you have a powerful resting metabolism, you'll have a lean, beautiful body. But here's what's really cool and why I had to write this book and why you're listening hopefully right now. This program does much more than just burn belly fat. And this is based on research that's been done all over the world, literally. From East Carolina University to the American Heart Association to the University of Alabama in Birmingham to the University of Nevada in Spain. It's international. And that is this new connection in the new research that shows when you do strength training, that you have the greatest advantage to target belly fat. And that's hopefully why you're here. Because I'll tell you, belly fat, and I am online a lot with a lot of clients, is my number one requested challenge or problem that people want to solve. They want to get that belly fat down, and they want to do it effectively, and they don't want to do it with pills or something that's dangerous or something that's going to take hours of time. And as you guys know, I'm all about being effective and efficient here. So this plan is designed to do that, to target your belly fat. And here's what you're going to have to give me. Just 2 workouts twice a week for 20 minutes. So 40 minutes tops for the whole week. That's all I'm going to ask you and require of you. And I'm going to take you through that on this CD. I'm going to take you through the principles of how to get your best workout and how it all works. That's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. And then on the second CD, we're going to go through an actual workout that you can do today, right away. You'll need nothing. You don't need to go to the gym. You won't need any dumbbells or anything. And it's a CD that you can use when you travel or things like that. So it's really an on-the-go, no excuse workout. But regardless of that, what we're going to do on this CD is we're going to get you started with the principles, because you got to know how it works. You know, if you were one of my celebrity clients, I'd spend at least a good 45 minutes with you explaining the principles and making sure you understand how it works. Because if you apply this in 2 weeks, guys, you know what's going to happen? You're going to shrink your waist. If you're a woman out there listening, you're going to have a beautiful sculpted body, beautiful sculpted belly, you know, a flat belly, a gorgeous belly. And more importantly, if you're a guy, your abs are going to be flat. You're going to lose the gut, as they say, guys, and you're going to feel your confidence soar. And here's a really cool bonus that I'll talk about in a minute, but you're also going to burn about 20% more calories by doing this program ongoingly, not just when you're working out. So get ready for a lot of cool things, guys, because you're going to see some extraordinary results. Now, before I tell you how it works specifically, I have to tell you something that I call the more myth. Now, the more myth is something I talk about in the actual book, if you were to pick up the 12-second sequence book that's hardcover and all that, in chapter 2. So if you've got the book, you can pull it out and you can follow along with me a little bit. I'm not going to be reading word for it, making this a little more live and interactive with you. But here is what the more myth is all about. The more myth is knowing that doing more isn't necessarily better. It's kind of a real simple philosophy, but I have noticed with a lot of clients that I've worked with over the many, many years I've been doing this now and millions of people, that most people think, and this is the hardest thing I got to shake out of them, is this idea that doing more is better. And you normally think, well, more money or more time with my kids, that's all good. Well, it is, but there's a limit to having more in your life. And more working out, you would think, well, more working out is better, right, Jorge? Because most people, I'll tell you, think three things when they think of more when it's related to exercise. And they think, well, I got to do more aerobics. Got to do more aerobics, right, Jorge? Or I got to do more reps, or I got to do more sessions. And I'll tell you, in the next few minutes, I want to tell you that you don't need any of that, because it's about the quality of the workout, not the quantity of the workout. And let me explain specifically, because this is very important. If you get what's on this track right now, you're going to really have an advantage emotionally inside of you, internally, that's going to rewire your brain to think effectively and efficiently rather than ineffectively. And this is important because it's about saving time. That's what we're going to do right now. So the first thing you probably think or have heard out there, you might hear, is that more aerobics is the key, right? Or I got to do more aerobics. And I'll tell you this, aerobics is great for the aerobic part of your life, which means your heart, but I'll tell you about this plan in a minute, because there's an aerobic component built into it. But more importantly, you may think, well, it's important to burn fat. And I'll tell you, yes, it burns fat while you do it. But here's the one disadvantage of aerobics. Now, don't get me wrong, especially if you're in the exercise business out there, because I've written other books where I didn't really kind of upplay cardio, and I'm not saying cardio is bad, but cardio doesn't have one thing, and jot this down, guys, if you're taking notes. It doesn't have EPOC. That's a big fancy word, right? It stands for excess post-oxygen consumption, which in a simple way is an afterburn effect, meaning really bottom line that if you do aerobics, once you stop doing aerobics, you stop burning fat, which isn't bad, right? But wouldn't it be great if there was some method where you did it and then after you did it, it kept burning more fat? Well, that's what the 12-second sequence program does, because it's a strength training based program. It will have an afterburn effect, and aerobics will never give you that at the highest levels. Strength training will. So that's a real important distinction. All right. Now, the second thing I hear a lot out there is that, well, all right, if I'm going to do strength training, then I got to do more reps. And especially the ladies out there. Now, ladies, if you're listening, the guys usually don't do this, but if you're a lady out there listening, let me have your ear for 1 minute here. You usually think, I've seen this before. My wife used to do this as well, but that's some lightweight that you hold, like maybe a 4-pound dumbbell or 3-pound dumbbell, something like that, or even a 1-pound dumbbell. I've seen those out there. And you do 25 or 50, repetitions, that is going to sculpt lean muscles without getting them big and bulky. And I have to tell you, everyone out there, ladies included, that is a myth. The only way you can get big and bulky muscles is if you're a man out there. And if you're a man in the sense that you have the hormones in your body to do that. But if you're a lady out there or you're a guy and you want to build and develop lean muscle tissue, the most effective way is not to do more repetitions with light weight. The only way you can change your muscle is by using a heavier weight. Now, the great thing about our program with the technique, it doesn't have to be that heavy. So it's going to be really, really cool and very effective. But more repetitions with light weight Doesn't work. You got to get that into your head and really understand it. And last but not least, what I hear out there a lot when I work with clients is this, is that, well, then doing more sessions, Jorge, all right? I'll do it your way, but I want to do it every day. I want to do it Monday through Sunday. 7 days a week, I want to work.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?